Welcome back to another fire episode of Sam Presents Hoop Ties with Ahmad K. Smith. I am the one and only. We have a very special guest, two-time All-Star, four-time rebounding champ, Andre Drummond in the building. How you doing, man?
Yes, sir. What's the word? How you doing? How you doing? You all right?
I'm doing good, man. Where you at right now?
Florida,
You in
Miami.
Florida? Okay.
Yeah,
Now you grew up in Connecticut, right?
I did indeed.
How was that experience growing up, as a youth and also playing high school basketball out in Middletown, Connecticut?
I think Connecticut is very underrated in terms of talent, and Connecticut is like a little version of like New York. We have a lot of similarities with how New York moves with their swag and how they dress, and it's the toughness of the city. But Connecticut has its own swag that separates us.
So is that close to Hartford? Because I got a homie that lives in
Yeah,
Hartford,
where I live,
Connecticut.
Middletown is like 30 minutes from to Hartford.
So yeah, you play high school basketball there. You have your foundation or the Drummond Foundation at Middlesex YMCA. Talk about why you created that.
Yeah, I created that because I wanted to always remind my city that I am a Connecticut kid, that I always come back and give back to the next generation. Middlesex YMCA is where basketball started for me. Driving, I forgot how many miles it was, but I would bike every day from my house to the YMCA from morning to dusk, back and forth every day, just working on my game, playing with the older kids, and doing camps there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you were the number one coming out, high school recruit coming out, and then you decided to go to UConn after you kind of reclassified. You're supposed to go to another school, and you reclassified to go to UConn. What led you to UConn?
What led me to UConn was a family decision because, like, as you said, I wasn't to go back to high school and play my last year. My best friend Mike, who to this day still doesn't let me live down that decision because he reclassified to play his last year with me, and I didn't do that with him, so he was pretty upset about that. So whenever Mike watches this, I know he's probably giving me the middle finger right now. But yeah, UConn was an easy decision for me because I've been a UConn fan for as long as I can remember. Stanley Johnson, rest in peace. I mean, Stanley Robinson, rest his soul. And Jerome Dyson used to come to my aunt's salon and get their hair braided. So I used to see those guys all the time, and just being able to go watch their games and being able to play against those guys when I got to high school, I just fell in love with the program, fell in love with Jim Calhoun and what Connecticut basketball represents.
Now you had to walk on there. You didn't get a scholarship, right?
Right.
Yeah.
That was the kicker. That was the kicker of my decision.
Yeah.
I thought I was just going to be able to just declare for school and scholarships would just be there. But the timing of when I decided to declare, scholarships were already handed out, school's getting ready to start. So I had to become a walk-on, and I think to this day I might be the best walk-on to ever play.
I mean, probably top two. I would say you, and I would say Scottie Pippen. Scottie Pippen
yes, Scottie Pippen, definitely, for
he went to
sure.
Central Arkansas. He was like 6'2" student manager, and then basically he
Right,
walked on and stuff like that. And he shot up like 6'7". So
right.
I think that's probably the one.
No,
You
for sure.
And then Scottie Pippen. Well, how was it playing for Jim Calhoun? He's a legend.
Playing for Jim Calhoun is not for the weak. He is as intense as people think he is.
Yeah.
He holds his players accountable, but you love him for it. He gets the best out of each and every one of his players, and especially me playing for him. He just knew the right things to say, or he knew like the different facial expressions to give me for me to like lock back in and play my game when things got rough. But he is a guy I still talk to this day. He always checks on myself. He checks on the rest of his players. So he's definitely a player.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of just won a national championship this year. So I mean, UConn's always had the great coaches, great program and stuff like that. But let's talk some NBA. I want to know, Andre Drummond, like, what was your first I'm him moment? Like, not getting drafted or anything, but like when you realize, like, yo, I'm that dude.
I think the moment I knew that was when I won the rookie sophomore MVP when I had 30, 25, and like 4 blocks or something like that.
Yeah.
I feel like after that moment, I was like, all right, I think I've arrived. Like I'm starting to like come into my own now. Doing that my second year is nuts.
Mm-hmm. What about your time playing in Detroit? How was that?
My time playing in Detroit, it was memorable, man. I pretty much grew up in Detroit from the age of 18 to 27. I played there
Mhm.
for a really long time. I grew up there. I still have family that lives there. And every time I go back, it just feels like home. Like, when you go somewhere, you
Yeah,
feel like you resonate with it. So anytime I go to Detroit, I just love being there.
they got a good. I feel like they got some potential. They got Cade
Yeah, they
out
got some
there.
young talent, man.
Yeah.
Duran.
Yep. Definitely some young talent. Now you came into the league in 2012. So I feel like when you came into the league, Andre, it was like your traditional power forward, your traditional center, two posts on the block, two bigs on the
Right.
block. But talk to me like when did that kind of shift? Like you've been in the league for over a decade. So when did it
12
kind of
years
like change? Yeah.
I think I noticed the change once guys like Channing Frye came around. Like a lot of the taller centers in that 2000, like the 14, 15, 16
Yeah.
era, Porzingis that came in, all the stretch fives that started coming in around that era is when the game started to change. And when the Warriors, won their first title by shooting all of those threes at a high
Yeah.
clip is when I think coaches started trying to get everybody to shoot the three. So
Yeah.
I think for me, from what I know from then to now, the land of the giants, died for a little bit, where traditional centers weren't looked at as valuable.
Mhm.
But I think in today's game, it's starting to come back around again.
So do you feel like your position is heading towards a more positive direction or negative direction? Because
I
even though
think
I
more,
feel like you more positive, go ahead.
yeah, I think more positive, and I feel that way because a lot of teams are getting like manhandled, like the small ball starting to get exposed, where teams are playing a lot bigger and they're bullying the smaller players. Like if you guys miss a three and we're coming out getting, twos and threes,
Mhm.
it's gonna make it a long night. If you're too big and too strong and too fast, it makes the game a lot difficult for those guys.
Yeah, especially in the playoffs when the game slows down and we start talking about like the playoffs is rebounding, defense, and then I feel like scoring at the second level of the basketball court. Those are the three things that you need to do to win like playoff games and
Right.
to go on it really, really far. But I want to ask you, do you feel like it's more pressure though for some traditional bigs in the league to kind of like work on more of their skill set, even though, like you said, you feel like it's coming back?
Yeah, I think it's very beneficial to have that in your arsenal in today's game, regardless of being a traditional big or not. For myself, I shoot a lot of corner threes in my workouts in the summertime because I shoot corner threes and top of the key,
Mhm.
because those are the shots that I'll probably get at the end of shot clocks, or if it's a end of a play, being able to shoot that shot comfortably,
Mhm.
regardless of it being your main shot, is key.
So I want to talk about rebounding. We know you're a four-time rebounding champ, one of the best rebounders this league has ever seen.
Ever.
Um, Talk to me about the importance of rebounding.
The importance of rebounding is becoming a factor again now in today's game. I mean, it's starting to come
Mhm.
back around where it's starting to become very important because teams are getting, out rebounded and they're losing the game on the board.
Yeah,
So I think that position for rebounding is starting to become more important again, which falls under my
yeah,
category.
hmm
I've been blessed to stay with the times, man. Very
hmm
blessed to stay with the times. Despite the change of the game, I've managed to stay with the time due to my defense and my quickness of my feet. So
Would you consider rebounding a skill?
it's an art. It's
Okay.
an art. I think it's an art because it's not something you could just go out there and do. Like, as someone goes out there and is able to shoot a three and it's unexplainable, they're just good at it. I think
hmm
with rebounding, like, you have to have a real knack for wanting to go after the basketball every single possession.
Who are some guys that you grew up studying and watching?
Yeah, Dwight Howard is definitely one of the guys I love watching. Dennis Rodman, uh, Horace Grant, Shaq.
hmm
I can go on the list of the great big Hakeem. Guys
hmm
that are really, really good in that space.
Yeah, relocating, bumping guys, finding a position. That makes sense. I want to ask you a question. DeMarcus Cousins, he came out about a month ago and he said, other than Nikola Jokic and Joel Embiid, he said right now he's still the third best center in the league, even though he's not in the league anymore. What is your take on that?
I think DeMarcus Cousins is a very good basketball player, and I think everybody's entitled to their own opinion. I mean, I think I'm one of
Mm-hmm.
the best players in the league. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
rightfully so. You're not gonna downplay yourself. So I respect the
Right,
fact he feels that way. So if he feels that way, I'm riding with it. As long as you believe it, that's all that matters. Doesn't matter what the next person thinks.
right. So, who would you say, in your opinion, at your position, who's the alpha? Who's the guy right now?
I mean, the guy that just won the MVP. So I guess you have to say Joel Embiid is the guy that's at the top of the mountain right now.
Would you say? I'm surprised you said Joe. I'm not really surprised you said Joel because he did win the MVP, but I'm a
Right.
little surprised because just what we saw in the second round of the playoffs.
For sure.
Again with Joel, it's just like we see him in the regular season, he dominates, but it seems like he kind of tires out when we get to the second round, especially in the fourth quarter. And then we got a guy Nikola Jokic, as we're seeing right now against the Los Angeles Lakers in that series. Like he's playing phenomenal, and he's just not even like his skill set. It's more so his like condition has been the most impressive to me. Um, so would you really think that Joel Embiid is better than Nikola Jokic, or do you just feel like right now you're gonna give it to Joel because he won the MVP?
Yeah, I think Nikola Jokic is an outstanding basketball player. I mean, his numbers
Mm.
show what he's done for his team is outstanding, but as of right now, the NBA feels Joel Embiid is the best player in the list, best player in the league. There's not much more I can really say to like change
Yeah,
anything.
yeah.
That's what the league thinks, and that's what you got to go with. I've played with Joel. I've got a chance to watch him and how much work he puts in.
Mhm.
Um, I guess he just needs a little more help, I guess, to help him get over that hump. But he's definitely a
Yeah.
dominant player, along with Jokic.
Which big man in the league do you feel like is a little maybe not underrated but underappreciated?
Underappreciated. That's a good question because I'm not going to use myself. Um, I think the young bigs, all the young bigs in the league, man. I think they're coming into a league with a lot of experienced veterans, and I think they're holding their own. Like the guys, like the younger teams now in Houston, uh,
Mhm.
Detroit with Duran, uh, OKC, their young core is really awesome too. So definitely appreciate young talent.
What's your thoughts on Victor Wembanyama coming out? I mean, the Spurs just got the number one overall pick. We know the historic, with the San Antonio Spurs with Tim Duncan and Robertson. Now he's going to be potentially the next big to kind of carry on that mantle. How do you think he's going to fare within the NBA?
I think it's a good chance to be really good. I mean, he's very talented from what I've seen. He has pro experience. Um, Excited to see how he handles the physicality of the game and,
Yeah.
see what comes for him.
What position do you think they should play him in? Because I mean, he's 7'5", so technically people are going to say center, but I
Right.
don't know. Like you said, the physicality in the league is different than
Yeah, I mean,
overseas. Just
if anything, he's got to be almost like a Kevin Durant, got to play the 3-4.
3-4, like a hybrid post kind of
Right.
maybe. Yeah. Okay. NBA Finals, Andre, who you got?
Oh man. I like the Boston Miami series. I'm a fan of both teams. I think it's gonna be a very, very defensive oriented game. I think
Yeah.
it's gonna be the team that gets the most stops and finishes the most efficiently on the offensive end. I like Boston. I like Boston. I like Boston going to the finals and Denver in the finals.
Yeah. Why Boston? Boston in how many games?
I think Boston in 6 and then Denver in 7.
Denver in 7. I'm surprised. I'm not really. I mean, I'm a little shocked because you played with the Lakers in 2021, and I kind of feel like that Lakers team you was on. I feel like if Anthony Davis didn't get hurt, I felt like you guys had a
Good chance.
really great chance to win. Like, what did Anthony Davis just get hurt? Like, what happened that series? It was just like that kind of hit the nail in the coffin a little bit, or
Yeah, it was just tough for us to build any chemistry with my addition later in the season, and
okay,
those two guys being injured during the time. And then when they came back and AD got hurt again, it just was tough, man. It was just tough. I feel like if he was healthy, I think it would have been a different narrative. I think we had a chance to do something really special.
yeah. I mean, everybody remembers when you were kind of on the sideline and you was kind of reenacting like
Oh
LeBron
yeah.
and that whole play. Like, what was going? Were you just trolling the Suns, or what? You
No,
just
I
having
think I was
sideline?
just I was truly enjoying my playoff experience. I was in a position where, I wasn't playing that much that game. So I said the next best thing is to be a good teammate. So I was just making the best of a good play and we were winning the game. So it was an exciting time.
What was your goals in the later part of your career? I hate to say later because you're only 29 years old, but like you've been in the league for 12 years. How
Right.
long do you see yourself playing in the NBA?
Uh, I mean, I see myself playing for a really long time. I think till, I'm no longer serviceable,
Mhm.
I'll probably just shut it down. Like I'm not gonna just hang on and
Yeah.
just, hang out on someone's bench. But if I'm still being used and being serviced, I mean, I'll stay as long as I can.
After 12 years, what gets you going? Like, because anytime you've been playing basketball a long time, I only played for basically from shut forward to like 22. Once I left college. But like, what keeps you going? You've been in the league for 12 years and beyond that. Growing up as a youth, playing in high school and college, what still motivates you to do what you do every day?
I think what motivates me to get up every day to play basketball is just the continuous love I have for the game and the new facets of the game I try to learn. The more film I watch, the more I fall in love with the game because every time I watch film or watch a player that I enjoy, playing against or enjoy learning from, I just find a new passion for the game.
What are some of the players you enjoy watching?
I watch Jokic, I watch Embiid, again, watch Shaq highlights, watch Hakeem highlights, Dwight Howard highlights, earlier in his prime. And I just retain a lot of information, just try to study their game.
Now, once again, you're one of the greatest rebounders this league has ever seen. The only player since I think Dennis Rodman, 1997, to average 16 rebounds per game in a year. I want to know. This is the final question. Like, who are your top three rebounders, best rebounders of all time? I got to know. You can't include yourself. You
I
gotta
cannot.
pick. No, you can't include yourself. You gotta pick
Oh,
three.
damn. Okay, well, Dennis, Ben Wallace, and who else am I missing? Oh, Bill Russell.
Bill Russell, 22 rebounds a game. Bill Russell. Who's number one though?
Oh,
Who'd
number
you say
one,
number?
the number one I said Dennis.
Dennis why though?
Just how much like his average. He averaged a lot of rebounds in his career, and he's done it for a long time.
Yeah, I mean he was a monster. And he was small too. That's the
Mm-hmm.
thing.
What,
He was
six,
short.
seven?
Is 6'7", 6'7" playing center role? Yeah, that's crazy. Draymond, I mean, Draymond was. It's kind of. I know I said that was the last question, but people often talk about Draymond Green and Dennis Rodman. They kind of compare their games and things of that nature. Do you feel like Dennis would be just as impactful playing in today than he was in the past?
Yeah. Like you talking about prime Dennis Rodman?
Yeah, prime Dennis Rodman, yeah.
I think he'd be a very high paid man, just what he does, like the energy he brings, the effort he
Yeah.
brings, being able to guard 1 through 5,
Yeah.
being able to be a tenacious rebounder. Defensively, he is reliable.
Yeah.
So I think he'd be great in this era.
Yeah, he's tough. He's tough. Definitely tough. But Andre, I appreciate you coming on, man. It's been a great conversation. You got anything you want to say to Slam, the Hoop Ties family?
No, I appreciate you guys having me on here. I'm grateful. Had a great conversation, and until next time.
Definitely. We had Andre Drummond on. Make sure you go like, comment, and subscribe. Hoop Ties everywhere. Also, go watch on YouTube. Once again, this is Slam Presents Hoop Ties with your boy, Ahmad K. Smith. We're gone, man. Peace.
Peace.